What's up, peeps? Today I'm getting dusty and trying to flatten out the top of my solid pine coffee table. We bought the table with this hand-hewn look and it's literally the worst. Everything is like a weeble wobbling all over. But today I plan to change all that. Should I have purchased a hand planer to do this job? Let's get into it and find out. The table is on casters, which is great because I could roll it right out into the garage by myself. A few drop cloth bunch ups aside, as soon as I got it out there, it was ready to go. I grabbed my pink kitchen gloves, a clean microfiber rag, and a bucket of warm soapy water and got started. I use Palmolive dish soap because it degreases great. Of all the pieces in our house, this is the one that gets the most wear. We eat almost every meal at this table, plus do about a billion other things. I expect the water to be quite gross, even though this table gets very regular cleaning. Like I said, we do everything on this table, and the weird concave design means I've spilled almost everything on this table, including this nail polish. You can see this second spot here that looks lighter. I tried removing it with acetone, but it basically just took off the finish. So I tried my Quinn scraper to remove this lacquer, that way it wouldn't gunk up my sandpaper. There we go. All right. So instead, I had to sand, and oh boy, did I ever sand! I wanted to remove the finish and the raised parts to give this table a chance at being flat. And I've wanted to do this from the day we bought the thing, so I was bound and determined to make it work no matter what. In total, this took me 5 80-grit sanding discs, 56 minutes, and about 5 breaks to stretch out my back. Seriously, why do so many things involve hunching over? Anyway, the dust this thing created was insane. I actually shared some of that over on my stories last week, so feel free to follow Copper Cactus DIY over on Instagram if you want more sneak peeks and dorky weirdness. After finishing this up, I vacuumed everything, including the inside of the car's tires. No lie. Then Mr. CC DIY blew out the dust from the entire garage.
Okay.
And I pulled out the scraper again to get the edges. The Quinn worked awesome because it has interchangeable blades, so I could get the exact contour that I needed. But the scraper couldn't get everything, especially on the ends. I had to do some hand sanding around the top and bottom edges. Because I'm staining and painting, I need to get a flat and smooth surface on all the wood. I didn't film it, but after the 80 grit, I got everything with a 150 grit, and here I'm using a 220. After sanding was done, I thoroughly cleaned the piece with a vacuum. Then I used a wet rag, but no soap. The stain I'm using isn't a penetrating stain. It essentially bonds onto the surface and it won't raise the grain. So I want everything super smooth before applying stain. With stain and seal, you also don't want to sand it after it's dried, as that can break the bond and change the look and durability of your final finish. And that's why I thoroughly sand in advance, clean well, and wet down the top to raise the grain. I totally forgot to film it, but I did finish this off with a very fine rad pad. I wiped away all that dust with an almost dry rag. Then I gave my back a rest and left it to dry for the night. Okay. And now we wait for it to dry. I'm using antique pine stain and seal from Fauxeffects, and I'll apply it with a damp applicator pad. Here in Phoenix, I found this is the best way to use this product on a larger surface. That way it doesn't dry out before I can get it smoothed out. I went from end to end in manageable sections, but I worked quickly to maintain a wet edge. I saved the end of my melange mineral paint in this color Vagabond Blue, my favorite, for this piece specifically. This is the same color combo that I used on my sofa side table last year, and sometimes I like a little matchy-matchy situation. This is one of those times. On these flat areas around the drawer, I could smooth it on like usual, but everywhere else, I actually had to pounce to get the paint into the distressed areas. In fact, I grabbed my table lamp to shine on the piece as I went along to make sure I got paint into every crevice, nook, and cranny. I could have wood-filled all of this, but I kinda like the damaged and distressed vibe that it has, even when it's being refreshed like this. And since melange self-levels, some of those smaller little nuggets got filled in anyway. Once I got a solid first coat on everything, I left it to dry and cure for a few hours before starting on coat 2. Then I got the second coat of stain and seal on the top. I also put on a second coat of melange, but I did that off camera. Once the stain was done for the night, so was I. In the morning, all I had left to do was add a top coat, and I'm trying General Finishes Flat Out Flat for the first time. If you saw last week's video, you know I had, let's just say a little problem with my favorite flat varnish. Really though? So I wasn't taking the chance of using that on this piece. While I reattach hardware, I want to thank you for all your support of my artistic endeavors. I love doing this work, and your support, even just liking this video, goes a long way towards helping me out, so thanks! Don't forget to subscribe for the Show Me Your Workshop collab on April 23rd. This one is hosted by Levon at Le Vintage Decor, and you won't want to miss it. That's it for today though. Hang tight for the beauty shots. Thanks so much for watching. Later peeps! Oh, gross. Now let's roll up the sleeve because I know I'm gonna just end up in the paint or in the stain if I don't.